Do we know why Andrew Griffith talks like this? Natasha.
Stop it, making my ears hurt, and the ears of all of our listeners. That was a bit of a painful listen, wasn't it?
It made Cammy Badenoch look like Aristotle.
It did.
Badenoch,
it made her look better.
Badenoch. Sorry.
Very good.
Carry on.
Yeah, it did make Cammy and the progress that she's made. She, obviously, as you said before, she gets better every week at discussions, doesn't she? As she said before, yeah. It made
no one
her.
Else said that.
No one has said that. No one has repeated it since. That was a bit of a deputy special, wasn't it? But not a particularly good one. Andrew Griffiths, I think it's fair to say, definitely will not be getting an off back. He was slow. He was flat. He was probably a bit nervous, I think.
Yes.
And despite being a politician who we've seen speak in the House of Commons many times and has been up on the round more times than we've had hot dinners, he clearly felt the pressure there from PMQs, and it is a big deal.
Do you think Lammy got
but he wasn't very good?
Because he was, what did we get the job right? He was Financial Secretary to the Treasury when that ludicrous budget was announced by Liz Truss and Kwasi Kwarteng, and Lammy hit him with that hard and early.
From the very get-go, I think he was on the back front.
Balance.
Yeah,
sounded off balance, but we don't know what he would have sounded like in the absence of that rather good joke or rather good point.
I actually think he was probably going to act like that anyway. I think he was quite going to be quite poor from the offset. But yes, David Lammy opening with that joke. So nice to see the co-author of the mini budget. So that definitely, I think, knocked him from the start. But Andrew Griffiths did have a few sort of things to say up his sleeve, talking about businesses, talking about jobs. We rightly predicted that he brought up business rates, and he was a businessman, very successful businessman before he went into politics, talking about how the high streets are being decimated. But again, David Lammy had done his homework, and you can hear the Labour Party's argument on pubs starting to take shape, talking about just how many pubs closed under the Conservatives and how they basically did nothing to stop this decline too. And also comments about the minimum wage that he brought up, some historic ones. I don't think I've heard that before from Andrew Griffith, saying that he feels the minimum wage is simply something that people pass to make them feel good. So pretty damning comments there. But yeah, Andrew Griffiths obviously had some good points, but the problem was his delivery was so poor. I don't think anybody was really able to engage with what he was saying, talking about how you don't make people feel better off by getting them out of work. And David Lammy, again, had some statistics to just hit right back. 1 in 8 young people not earning or learning.
Haven't they? They've got their research in place.
Yeah, absolutely.
And some of those questions they'd obviously expected.
Yeah, it just felt a little bit like a sort of cheaper knockoff version of PMQs, which may be, apt given Keir Starmer's in China.
Daisy Cooper was very good.
Daisy Cooper was very good. And we thought that she might talk about President Trump. But actually she talked about China today, talking about how Keir Starmer, she says, is going cap in hand to China for a trade deal. She talks about the super embassy, which will, she says, continue to spy on us. And I think David Lammy actually did outline a quite a good argument from the government there about why China matters. Ignoring it would be a dereliction of duty. And he listed, Macron, Merz, all engaging with China. And I do think that many people agree that China is someone and a country to be engaged with. So it does make sense why Keir Starmer is making such a trip.
It's either our second biggest export market?
Something like that, yeah.
I mean, it's not to be underestimated.
No, absolutely not. And
Germany, I think, comes in top.
This is a government that says they want economic growth at all costs, right? And you absolutely cannot ignore China. They are just too big to ignore anymore.
I think that pretty much covers it. Normal service resumes next week. Do you want to play a game? We've got a couple of minutes until the news.
Go on.
Okay, so this is Defection Bingo. I'm going to describe a job. I'm going to give you a job description, and you're going to tell me whether or not this person, who I'm not going to name, has recently defected to Nigel Farage's outfit. So this is people in Boris Johnson's government. Okay, so I'll give you the job description. You should just say true or false. You ready?
I'm ready.
A vaccines minister who briefly became chancellor.
Oh yes, I saw this one myself the other day. Nadhim Zahawi.
Correct.
True.
Community secretary under Boris Johnson, later became an immigration minister under Rishi Sunak.
Community secretary. This is generic, right?
Correct.
This is generic. Okay. Yep. So I've seen him do it too.
Health minister under Johnson before being promoted to.
Health minister under Johnson.
Wait, let me finish. Before being promoted to culture secretary in 2021.
Is that a promotion?
Yes, because that's a cabinet role.
It's true. Yes, it is. I'm not sure who you're talking about there.
Seriously.
No, as in remind me who it is.
Nadine Dorries.
Of course, sorry, of course. No, we all know that. We all know where she's gone.
Attorney General under Boris Johnson, who later made them Home Secretary.
Of course, that's Suella. Yep.
Northern Powerhouse Minister under
Berry.
Boris Johnson. Jake Berry. 6 months as political secretary to Boris Johnson.
6 months as political secretary. Ooh,
This is the hardest one.
tough.
You could have just done true or false, but you've made.
I've made
it for your own back now, haven't you?
Yeah,
You've got to carry on naming them.
Who is it?
Danny Kruger.
Of course, Danny Kruger. Yes,
No,
he
no,
actually
so-
had a very small role in Boris Johnson's government, didn't he?
Yes, known to his friends as Dunning. Health Minister under Boris Johnson before losing her seat at the last election.
For losing her seat. Again, it feels like so far away, this Boris Johnson government. I'm sure it's true because I feel that there's a pattern developing here.
Maria Caulfield. Minister in the Scotland office under Boris Johnson continued under Liz Truss.
Is it Matthew Offord? Is that his full name? It's Lord Offord.
Lord to the likes of you,
Lord
mate.
Offord. He's gone. He's now the leader in Scotland, correct?
Yes. Minister in the Northern Ireland office under Boris Johnson. And, I mean, almost... it's a toss-up. What's
Minister
more
in
hilarious?
Northern.
This guy being a schools minister under Liz Truss or Nadine Dorries being a culture secretary under anybody?
Schools minister.
I'll give you a clue.
Oh, is it Jonathan Gullis?
Yes, it's Jonathan
He is
Gullis.
gone.
That clue was a bit of a giveaway.
That was a bit mean, wasn't it?
It was a bit
That was
of a
a bit
giveaway.
cruel.
So, skills minister, again, we could die of... Can you die of irony? We're about to find out. Skills minister under Liz Truss and Boris Johnson.
Skills minister under Liz Truss.
I'll give you a
Boris
clue.
Johnson.
They haven't got any.
I don't know this one.
Andrew Jenkins.
Andrew Jenkins, yeah. Of course, she was the one that, famously flipped the bird.
Government whip under Boris Johnson and Liz Truss.
Government whip. Look, it's obviously, whoever it is, it's true.
Going a bit obscure
It's
now.
going to be true. Government whip.
It is true. It's Adam Holloway. And finally, parliamentary private secretary for Boris Johnson and an assistant whip under Liz Truss.
I'm going to go with true.
Leah Nicky. Or Nietzsche. 12
Nietzsche.
so far. 12 and counting. Meet the new lot. Nothing like the last lot at all.
Love it when the old band gets...
Personally, almost as responsible as their new boss, Nigel Farage, for the mess that the country's in. But who on earth wouldn't trust them to sort it all out? And that's just the ones from Johnson. If you were to focus on the Truss government, you'd, I think, have more people now in reform than you have in Kemi Badenoch's shadow cabinet.
Yeah, possibly. She did make one good joke earlier, her speech, where she was saying, at least I've got enough people to put in my shadow cabinet.
Yes.
There was a couple of good jokes this morning at Kemi Badenoch's speech. But you're totally right. And David Lammy, you heard him, gone about reform just there. They obviously clearly think that this sort of defections row and also the link to Liz Truss is still so strong, isn't it? How many years has it been since she's been in government? Are the Conservatives ever going to shake off that reputation?
Well, at least we know that she'll never defect to reform because they made it quite clear that
there was
Liz
one
Truss
person they won't have.
and Suella Braverman were both far too toxic ever to be welcomed in to Nigel Farage's fold. Amelia Cox has your headlines.